Now let's see how basically Docker helps us. How uh, Docker makes our life easy. How Docker makes lives of the operations team easy. So first example that we have taken, this is my server, so that I have provisioned, and this is your server so that you have provisioned, whoever is watching this video. Okay, so then I have written a Docker file which consists of a source code also, everything, and then I have written a Docker file, and then I have placed the Docker file inside the Git repository, and this Git repository is public. It's a public Git repository. So now I will just fetch the source code as well as Docker file into my server. It could be Ubuntu or CentOS. Then I will say build, so the image will be built. So this Docker file through Git repository, I'm gonna clone it into my server, and I will say Docker build. Then I'm gonna build my image. So the Docker app image app. Uh, so applications Docker image will be built. And similarly, as this is a public repository, you you whoever is watching this video, you also can clone the Git repository from my GitHub account, and you can also give Docker build from your server, and you can also build the Docker, that applications Docker image. So the fact of the matter is, the point to be discussed here is, one Docker file, if you put into the GitHub repository, anybody can use. You, me, your girlfriend, my girlfriend, and my girlfriend's friend, and your girlfriend's friend, and your family, everybody, whoever wants. The whole world can use, because I have made this Git repository public. So that's how one Docker file with a source code can be used by anybody, if provided that it is placed in a public Git repository. So now I have built the Docker image. This is the output of this slide. The output of this slide is to building a Docker image. Okay, I have built this Docker image. Then after building the Docker image, I have placed this Docker image in either container registry or Docker Hub. Basically, I have pushed the Docker image that I have built in our previous slide into the Docker Hub. So you can either use container registry, but we are using Docker Hub only, or else you can use ECR, KCR, so Elastic container registry you can use. So there are a lot of ways, lot of registries are available, but Docker Hub is the famous one. So I have pushed my Docker image that I have built into the I have pushed this Docker apps Docker image into Docker Hub repository. So now once the image is ready, so obviously the image consists of source code, everything, source code, service, exposed to the ports, everything it will consist of. So now this is my server and this is your server. So and you might somebody else has their server. As I have kept my Docker Hub repository public, anybody can actually say Docker pull, and then once the image has been pulled, then you can say Docker run and the image name, and you can run the container. That's it. Your app container will be up and running. On the other side, somebody, whoever is watching this video, They are also either from container registry or Docker Hub. They can pull the image, or they can also directly run without pulling. You just say Docker run and mention the image name with the tag. That's it. The container will be spinning in a while, maximum 2 to 3 seconds. It will be spinning in a seconds. So that's how the Docker helps us. So once the image is built and stored in a repository, in a container repository or image repository, so it is anybody in this world can just pull it and run it a container. It has become a 1 minute job. It has become a 2 minutes of job, and you can run your application within a minutes. See the magic. That's how a Docker makes our life much easy and easier. So now we will demonstrate the same concept. Let's pull the Docker image from the Docker Hub to the local machine as well as a Ubuntu server, because we are saying two servers na. So that's why, to prove it, one is Ubuntu server, so that's my server. Other one is a local host. So local host is my machine, that's Windows machine. And then another one is Ubuntu server, which is a ec2 instance. So we will pull the image into both the servers, and we will run the container, and we will see the magic. Okay, first we will do it for Ubuntu server, then we will go for the local machine. Okay, so let me go to the Ubuntu server. So clear this. Okay, now I will pull the image, but before pulling that, let me get into my Docker Hub. Yeah, this is my Docker Hub. So which image I am gonna pull is Cube Charan welcome app. I want to pull welcome app. So I want to go with the tag v1. So for that, no, wrong side. Welcome app. Click on see all. Yes, see all. So then here you can copy this. Just click on this icon. The pull command has been copied. Now come to the Ubuntu or Docker server and paste it. That's it. Nothing much. Just paste it exactly and click enter. It's that easy. It's that easy. So now the image, the Docker image has been pulled. So now let me check Docker images. You will find only this image. Other than that, you won't find anything, because we have cleaned up. We have cleaned up our Docker engine in our last session. Okay, in our last session. So our image is ready here also. So at the same time, we will go to our Docker, we will go to our local machine and we will pull it. Windows PowerShell run as administrator. This is in our local machine. So clear it and paste it. That's it. Okay, something wrong. Okay, let me get into the Docker Hub one more time and click on copy. Yeah. Now, yes. Now let me execute it. So we are pulling it into local machine. You see this is a local machine. It's gonna take more time, because 31.4 MB and 25.47 MB means it will take more time. So by the time it gets pulled, so let's get into our Ubuntu server or Docker server, which is an ec2 instance. Okay, so now here I'm gonna run our container. So Docker run. So name of this container is welcome app. That's it. And detached mode and port mapping would be, I think I will give 8080 to 80, and name of the container, the name of the image is cube charan, and welcome app, welcome app, and version 1. That's it. Your container is spinning now. So let me say docker ps, absolutely fine, port mapping 80 tcp and 8080, it's absolutely spinning well. So by the time, let me check the other side, local host or local machine. Okay, this is also successfully pulled into our machine. So you see that the cube chair and welcome app dot v1, I'll say docker images. You see that the image has been successfully pulled. Now let me, anyway, docker desktop is also part of this, so I will see this in docker desktop. See, cube charan welcome app, the image has been pulled. So I will run the container here also. In spite of running in docker desktop, I will run here only. Docker run name welcome app, same, and detaching mode port, here I will say 80, map with 80, and image name cube charan welcome app version 1. Correct? That's it. Your container is been spinning. So let's get into the docker desktop and check. We should see a container which is spinning. Yes, welcome app, and it's spinning at this one. Okay, now let's access both at a time. Okay, uh, where is this? This is our Ubuntu server or Docker server 8080. This is at 8080, and other one Docker desktop, other one is 80. Okay, now let me come to the browser. So this is the public IP of my Ubuntu server or Docker server. So I'll put 8080 port mapping, and on other side, so I need a local host, correct? So let me make these two things side by side so that at a time both will open at a time and we'll have some fun. So okay, this is, and on other side local host http local host, yeah, this is. So let me click enter here, and let me click enter here, and this is a wrong one. Okay, this is the wrong one, I have to place it here. Okay, this is 8080. Yes, you see that 8080, and another side this one. I will close this and I'll directly open it from the Docker desktop because it's a local host now. I'm gonna see here. I'll click http localhost 80. Okay, or I will click here. Yes, that's it. It has come. Now I will keep this here. You see that I will show both. That's the reason. Same application or same image, obviously. Same image, same application. This is public IP of ec2 instance, which we are accessing through browser over internet. Same application, which containerized application, which is spinning from the image and docker image, and other one which is hosted in local host. You see that same application which is containerized, and the container is spinning from the same docker image. So both are running from the same docker image, hence proved the power of Docker. You see that? Check. You see that? Docker Hub. I have I have pulled the Docker Hub image. I have pulled the welcome app image to the my server and then to the local host. Then I said run in my server. The container is up and running. I'm able to access through browser, which is an ec2 instance. So that's why I have to use internet to access it. Whereas on local host in my Windows machine, I've just run it and I have accessed it through local host link. So that's it. So this is the power of Docker Hub. Once you build an Docker image and pushed into Docker Hub or container registry, anybody can anybody can pull that image and build and run the container from that image in this world. Anybody can do that. That's the power of Docker Hub. So you are having a solid an image with you so that you can do anything with that.